I don't know what you can do in acting that's wrong. I just don't. It's either less than an art or more than an art. It's a scream from a mountaintop or from a pit. That's what acting is. It's I exist, or hello, this character exists. I don't see that as an art. It's a human necessity. For me, it became the necessity. But everybody's an actor. Everybody screams in one way or another. I just happen to make a living doing it and have honed it and need to do it for my soul.
Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
David Krumholtz is an actor. He sat down with me on the Upper West Side of Manhattan to talk about the work.
I went to Filmmaker magazine years ago. I said I want to talk to actors about acting because as a filmmaker, as a small-time filmmaker, I was afraid of actors. I'm saying that in the past tense.
Who can blame you? So am I.
But I was really afraid.
Not kidding.
I was.
They're the worst. Fucking selfish bastards. They only care.
Come on, no.
Most actors have no interest in servicing the script or the director.
Wait, we got to get into this. Wait.
It's true.
That can't be true. That can't be true.
In my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, the majority. Here's the truth about actors, okay? And this is so true. They're either the worst person you have ever met in your life, or, well, no, agents are worse.
Yeah.
I love my agent, but agents are worse than actors. But actors are either the worst person you've ever met in your life or the very best.
Yeah.
The sweetest, most empathetic,
Yeah.
inspiring little oracle, like you want to, you want it like a light that you want to go to, like a flame, like a moth.
Yeah.
Or they are the most unattractively selfish, deranged and delusional people ever. And there's no in between. There's no in between. I've never met one that is both of those things or some of those things. It's just either or.
When you size up the bad ones,
Yeah.
is there something that you are summing up about it? Like, is it because they've reached this level of fame where
it's because they've forgotten the privilege of being allowed to make movies and have a job that is essentially like baseball for a living.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you watch a baseball game or you go, look at these lucky bastards. They're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to play a game. You know, this idea that acting is suffering and that, you know, that it's changing the world. And no, what we do is we emulate humanity. Great. That's what we were born to do. I believe it's a purpose. I believe it's a calling. So, but the privilege of actually working as an actor, when so many actors are out of work, when it's near impossible to get in this business and then get paid a living to be in this business as an actor, to forget that privilege, or to believe that you are the privilege, that people should be privileged to be with you.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a business and you have to sort of beat your chest and be the gorilla sometimes, and you are a solitary entity that is needing to build something, build a career. I get that, but there's ways to do that where the privilege is the priority, where your sense of privilege is the priority. And all the very, very biggest, most consistently working actors I've ever worked with are wonderful.
So it's not even the big ones that are like the bad ones necessarily.
It's usually not the big ones.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. In fact, I would venture to say that almost, with the exception of one guy, I'm not going to say who it was, all the very biggest names I've worked closely with are incredibly wonderful people.
Wow.
Generous, loving, kind, and born leaders. They deflate people's intimidation. They normalize their situation for themselves despite how famous they might be, and people wanting things from them. And you know, and yeah, but no, it's like the next rung down, or maybe you know, the ones that feel they deserve the mega fame, and then will stop at nothing to get it.
Yeah,
when it becomes less about the work and more about the status, you know,
that's what it is.
You lose a chunk of your soul, and the problem is, to be an actor, I believe you need to have extra soul. So when you lose a chunk and you have less soul than most people do, how can you have the balls to attempt to, empathize with any character you're playing that might not be rich and famous like you? How can you do it? And you know what? You can. You know why? Because at the end of the day, acting is faking and pretending as well. Mm-hmm. There's that version of acting. And there's wonderful fakers out there. Yeah. Amazing impressionists of humanity.
So they can impersonate an empathetic person.
They get paid. Yeah. They get paid, man. I feel bad for so many of them. Because for a couple reasons. Fame is a drug.
Yes.
It's one of the most powerful drugs I've ever seen work its way through the human mind. And I've had a front row seat for friends of mine going from complete obscurity into massive fame. And I see what fame can do, the potential. And it is very much like a drug. And it's very hard, very difficult to navigate the ego. And by the way, if I were world famous, not being able to walk down the street, believe me, I'm under no delusion that I would not also succumb to that drug and maybe be an asshole myself. Does fame make you an asshole? No, but it can. Yeah, very much can. New York actors who've chosen to live and operate here have chosen to get away from the bubble that feeds their ego in LA. Yep. I lived in LA for 15 years and I didn't know who I was at all by the end of those 15 years. And if I had an inkling, I did not like what I saw. And I needed to come home. I needed to come to a place where it wasn't all about me, where, there are billboards for lawyers and plumbers, and not every single billboard is a movie or a TV show that I'm not in, that I might have been up for, that I wasn't up for. Yeah. It became such an obsession, a self-obsession. So, even on my small level of notoriety, I convinced myself I could buy a $2 million house because I was always going to work. And I lost my shirt, got foreclosed on. The goddamn house had an elevator in it. I'm not kidding.
Didn't Eminem write a song about this? I have an elevator in my house.
Who?
Didn't Eminem write a song about?
I have an elevator? Yeah, well, he can afford an elevator. My elevator broke. I'm not kidding.
It was like never
2 months
fixed.
in. No, we fixed it. It was $13,000 to get a new elevator. I got foreclosed on in that house. That was a nightmare. Short sale.
I love this.
But serves me right because I had bought into a lot of bullshit about myself.
Right. Somebody else might say, though, you need to play that game that way. You need to get that house with that elevator.
I thought I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I very much thought I did.
You're saying that's kind of like playing the bullshit then, and it eats you.
I can't do it. Yeah. I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
Right? I could have bought a different $2 million house that wasn't foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I bought a house with a fucking elevator in it that looked like a Spanish castle. It was ridiculous looking. I was bad at that kind of game, the bullshit part of the game. Yeah. Look, I've said this before, so this is nothing new. The business is made up of half nerds, half scumbags. Sometimes the nerds become scumbags and the scumbags never become nerds. But there's one basic rule that everybody follows, which is you lie. You lie to do. And so much so that anyone who lies to you gets a free pass. It's like cutoff culture when you're driving in Manhattan. Yeah. It's like if someone cuts you off, you cannot be pissed off at them because it was a good move that they just made. And guess what? If you come around them and then cut them off, you would hope they would afford you the same respect to go, you know what, good move. Yeah. And it's like that in LA.
That's interesting analogy.
You're going to get lied to and you got to respect it. But I'm not a liar.
Yeah.
And because I realized it would corrode my ability to do my job.
Yes.
I've played liars and I've played uber honest, earnest people. So I need to leave that channel open for myself to just be as honest as I can be. So I'm not a liar.
Do you think that at this point, if someone were to come along saying, I'm going to just play it honestly, I'm going to be the honest guy out there, and that's going to actually spread the waters for me because that's so unusual, You think it's time for that? Because I mean, everybody's sick of this bullshit.
There are people who've done that and made it work. I think it's rare that works, very rare. You have to be extremely talented, and you have to be it's almost like being a psychologist. You really have to understand human psychology to get away with being honest in Hollywood. That's the truth.
Wow.
You got to predict people's reactions to your honesty and sort of circumvent them or navigate them in a way where their next move and you can counter it before it happens. They exist. I've worked with them. They're amazing human beings. And they're rare, and their greatest accomplishment is that they've survived and thrived in a business that is sort of, in a roundabout way, set up to break you for being honest, for being too honest. The easiest thing about being an actor is acting.
Oh, that's a quote.
It's the easiest thing. Bullshit. And I've had very hard jobs and worked my ass off, but they've still been easy in comparison to trying to get a job, to trying to convince people you can do more than what they assume you can do. Including people who work with you, like your agents and managers, much less producers, directors, and so on. Playing the game, dealing with other sort of half nefarious, agenda-driven people. That's hard.
Yes.
I will say that is very hard. Okay, but and there's no pretense in talking about how hard that is. That is genuinely hard. But acting, the actual act of acting. Okay, I'll give you an example. Did a Tom Stoppard play that won the Tony for Best Play.
Yes.
It was called Leopoldstadt.
Yes.
I was sort of the central character in the play. Big ensemble cast. But you could argue I was the central character, and certainly the most kind of embarrassing character in what was an incredibly, brutally depressing play. I did 194 performances for maudlin old Jews in New York. Because the play was about, being Jewish and we're talking about Jews. I would come out, we were across the street from Hadestown, and they would let out the same time. And that crowd would come out singing in the street while literally decrepit old Jews were snotting up as a result of seeing this play that I was doing. And I enjoyed every second of it. And if you cried, I heard you. And if you gasped, I loved it. And I knew how to turn the screws. I learned how to turn the screws even more. What a joy. Was I exhausted? Absolutely. Did it affect me and stay with me? 1,000%. Did it drive me crazy at points? 100%. But boy, what a ride. What a ride that was, man. The play was popular. It was a big hit. We knew it was great. It was Tom Stoppard. It was British theater with all its pretentiousness.
I was going to say, you need to say this. It was the talk of the town.
It was.
So you're talking about, like, you're saying like old Jews or whatever you're saying.
No, it wasn't just old Jews.
This was, everybody wanted to see this show.
Yes, it was very popular, and we crushed it, man. Like, we were great. We were a well-oiled machine. And it was a great, I'm rarely proud of things. I was very proud of it. And I love working hard. In fact, the harder the better. I believe that's what life is. You work really, really hard so that you can be tired enough to get a good night's sleep. And that's one day at a time, one job at a time, or one performance at a time. And, but was it fun? For me, it was. Was it depressing as hell and sensitive subject matter? Did I have a blast? 1,000%.
Did it make you want to do more stage work? That wasn't the first time you're on Broadway, but it was a while. It's been a while, right?
I was on Broadway. My very first job, I was 13 years old in a Broadway play. And so it was 30 years later that I did this one. And I'll be honest with you, I went through this sort of I ran the gamut of emotions and psychology in whether or not I was cut out for it, that the theatrical experience or not. You know, I'd listened to so many interviews of actors that I respected that absolutely live for it, and then actors that I equally respected who think theater is in some ways absurd, or anything longer than a 6-week run is absurd. And I took it all into consideration before I did it. And I did have my reservations early on. In the rehearsal process, I thought, what the hell am I doing? What is going on? Well, I'll tell a tale out of school. I made a bold choice that was not appreciated nor welcomed by some of the people involved in making the show. And I'm not going to say who, but my bold choice was to not memorize my performance and to instead live in it every night and find it and find something new. And that is what I had heard many actors do. And I think it's a very American thing, because British theater is very much memorize your performance. So don't just memorize the lines, don't just memorize your blocking, but do the same exact thing every night. I couldn't do it. It's not me, it's not what I believe in. And it upset a lot of people. And they made their feelings known, and it made me wildly paranoid on stage, you know. It was hurtful, deeply hurtful.
These weren't just actors having a problem.
It was mostly not the actors. The actors didn't seem to have much of a problem at all. No, it was more the higher ups.
Yeah.
They just, and you know, I've never been part of something, such a big part of something so clearly successful, and people had all kinds of issues with it.
Yeah.
And expressed them, you know, and let me know that I was, you know, in a more elegant way, they told me I was ruining the show.
Wow.
The show was a huge hit. We won the Tony for Best Play. I got crazy rave reviews everywhere. And I was told, there was one point where someone told me, you are no longer telling the story of the show in your performance.
Wow.
As if I was speaking gobbledygook.
Wow.
I was saying every line as written verbatim. It was as if they were saying, you are not speaking like a normal human being would speak, because none of it makes sense anymore. And I thought, that's bullshit. And it made me very sad, very paranoid, very angry. But you know what my saving grace was?
What?
All the people involved worshipped Tom Stoppard.
I was just
like
going to say, please tell me Stoppard.
And he was 1,000% on my side.
Thank God.
The whole time, total supporter of mine.
Why wouldn't they lean into?
Well,
okay,
and there
so
were
Tom's
moments
happy.
where I had to use it as a sword and say, hey, or a shield, I should say, and say, hey, Tom loves what I'm doing. And they would say, we don't care.
What?
And I would say, but you just said you worship Tom. And they would say, well, he's old, and, you know, they'd make excuses.
Oh, my God.
And it drove me bonkers. So I do want to have another theatrical experience. I desperately need one. It was an amazing experience. I would never have it any other way, as hard and as annoying as it was. But I don't want to have that kind of theatrical experience again.
Yeah.
That was unwelcome, and shocking and hurt, and just wildly hurtful. Because I was up there bleeding every night and every day, and giving it 2,000% every time, upping the stakes, trying to find a new way, like I said, to turn the screws. And it was all to them. The director called me a theatrical anarchist at one point. And it hurt.
God.
It really hurt. It made me, forget about hurt. It got in the way of me doing my job. I became wildly paranoid. On stage, paranoid, you know.
This is, to me, I know this is going to sound like I'm blowing smoke up your ass, but this is a heroic story to me.
Nah.
Let me tell you why. You just said why. When I go to Broadway and I'm in the middle and they start, I'm wishing I was on the aisle so I could leave.
So you could leave, right.
Because of this tired, stale kind of thing. You're trying to keep it alive. You're trying to bring life electric. And they're like, no. I mean,
Yeah.
that annoys me.
But that play required electricity. And Tom knew that.
Yeah.
And the actors knew it. They loved me. And we all got along beautifully. No one, well, I don't want to say no one, but most of the actors, the overwhelming majority, were very happy with what I was doing. And no one was offended. And they were memorizing their performances. And I wasn't offended. Let me tell you something. An actor should never, ever, in the realm of theater, I'm not saying film or television, but ever in theater have any problem with anything another actor does.
Yeah.
Unless it's literally changing the lines, changing the blocking, or being drunk on stage. It's none of my business what you do.
Right.
I have to sing with you.
Yep.
So I will find my note
Yep.
if you're off. That's
Yep.
my friggin' job. Part of my job is to work with you.
Yep.
I'm not going to make you work around me. Now, it's not the same in film and television. It's not the same because it's so much more delicate, really delicate. But in theater, it's none of my business. And most of the actors, the overwhelming majority of them, felt the same way. They're worried about their own shit. Play your part of the song. Find the groove and play your part. And that's what happened. But it was more in observation of the shows, the people in the audience. And also the process is so ridiculous, in my opinion. The director comes in, you rehearse for 5 weeks intensely. He's there for the first 3 maybe weeks of the shows, of the previews, and then a week of the opening. Then he's gone.
Yeah.
He or she is gone for months.
Yeah.
And then comes back, watches the show twice, and goes, everything is wrong with this show.
Yeah.
I've lost control. And you go, you weren't even here. Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
We're working our fucking balls off. Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
So that whole thing is just, ultimately it's disrespectful to actors.
Right.
And I'm not saying actors deserve their toes kissed.
But it's the acting medium this age.
It is. You are 100% right. It is, whether they like it or not, it's an actor's medium. It's ours.
Yeah.
And so that sort of classic disrespect that goes back centuries, of you're a puppet.
Yeah.
I refuse to be a puppet. I'm just not going to do that. I don't have that in me, man.
That's also why this is heroic, David. You didn't give in. Anybody else might have given in because the apparatus is large. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of money involved. This is a play, too, on Broadway. A play, a new play. It's like it's fragile and a lot of money, right? And a lot of powerful people involved.
And for reputation, by that point, the play had won the Olivier in London.
There you go.
And it had only ran for a month in London. And here we were going to do this big, long run. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot riding on it. But
how do you assure?
Here's the thing. How do I ensure?
How do you assure that doesn't happen again, though? Do you go in somewhere and say, "Look,
I can't." Do
you tell this story and say, I'm going to work like this?
No, I can't assure that. And by the way, if it happened again, I wouldn't quit. You persevere. Yeah. Look, I enjoy doing this job. I have fun. I love being an inspiration. We had 12 kids in the show. 12 kids. It was something like 8 roles and their understudies, and they would switch in and switch out. They were the most professional actors in the entire cast, and any other adult cast member will tell you the same thing. Wow. They were amazing. And my job was to inspire them. That was part of my job, was to both inspire them on stage and off, to show them that you can have fun, that you can be an adult and have fun, and, and don't be scared, and that kind of thing. That was my goal, and I accomplished that, and the proof is in the pudding that those kids loved me and they want to be friends with me the rest of their life, and I'm in their lives and what have you.
That's beautiful.
Well, but it's not heroic, and I'll tell you why it's not heroic. Because ultimately, it's all part of the job, which is something that I get paid for, which is something that I wake up in the morning, shower, shave, and go do, like any other job on earth. Mm-hmm. I don't find it particularly, like I said, I'm not saving lives. It's a job. That's part of my job. There's nothing heroic in understanding the whole responsibility of a job. You know, I do see other actors who don't understand that, who maybe don't have that chip or are unwilling to go do the. I can do it, and I love doing it. I love doing it all. It's not a party, but I make a nice little nest. You know, I need to, and that nest is welcome to anybody who wants to join. So even with all that angst with that particular job, I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad.
I have to tell you that I disagree. There are two entities. There are two.
You let me talk that long, and then
there are two jobs that save lives. One literally saves lives.
Right.
The other is an artist.
Is acting an art?
Yes.
You really believe that?
Absolutely.
I don't believe it is.
It's a performative art.
It's a performative art. It's a performative.
Are you going to tell me that you weren't engaging in art every night? I mean,
I believe the script was art. And
there's no doubt about that. That's a different kind of art.
Yeah.
That's an expression.
I help make art happen.
You could say it like that.
Yeah.
But there is an artistry to your work.
Not for me.
Performative
I
artistry.
can only speak from my own experience. It's not artistry. You know what it is? Trickery.
That's fine.
I have a bag of tricks as an actor that I can employ, but it's trickery. It's not technique. I've never taken an acting class, really. It's not technique. It's trickery.
If it was just that, David, you would have settled into doing the same thing every night like everybody else was doing. Why did you not settle into that?
That is not art. That is my guttural calling.
You're making that sound like it's not a technique. Someone could say that's a part of your technique. I got you there.
I wouldn't call that. No, you didn't get me there. I wouldn't call it technique. I really wouldn't. Okay, so here's what it is. You want to know what it is? It's going to sound weird. For me, and I'm only speaking on my own behalf here.
Okay.
It's via con Dios, man, for me.
Wait, let me get my dictionary. What?
It's go with God for me.
Oh,
and I'm not a hugely religious. I'm not religious at all, but I'm not a wildly spiritual person. But I just believe it's beyond me, that it's got to be channeled somehow. And as long as my heart is open to anything can happen, then that happens. So that's where I don't necessarily believe it's a technique-driven art. I'm not saying there isn't technique. There is technique, plenty. But when you become bogged down with technique over the experience of choicelessness and just going for it.
Okay.
You know who taught me that? Maggie Gyllenhaal. Because I used to be a technique-driven actor.
Interesting.
Until I worked with her.
What?
She just said, don't make choices and just find yourself in me. Find yourself in my eyes. Basically. Was
she directing you, or were you?
No, she was. I did a TV show called The Deuce on HBO, and I played. Most of my scenes were one-on-ones with her.
So she said that to you as a fellow actor.
Yeah, no choices. Stop making choices. Just let's roll. Let's talk. Let's roll. Fine. And it helped that she has humongous pillows for eyes, and it was a comfort. And I thought. It was her basically saying, you can't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because I thought there were rules and I was making mistakes. Jeff Daniels, I worked with him on The Newsroom. And he literally said that you can't do anything wrong. And when I speak to a young actor now who wants advice, I say, what can you possibly do wrong? There's no wrong in this. Now, art, okay, like writing, painting, there are classic wrongs. I don't know what you can do in acting that's wrong. I just don't.
Interesting.
And so that's where I think it's either less than an art or more than an art. It's a scream from a mountaintop or from a pit, from a bottomless pit. That's what acting is. It's I exist. Hello, I exist. Or hello, this character exists. It's a scream. I don't see that as an art. It's a human necessity. For me, it became the necessity. But everybody's an actor. The world's a stage.
Yeah.
Everybody screams in one way or another. I just happen to make a living doing it and have honed it and need to do it for my soul. If that makes sense.
Of course.
I know you still disagree.
No,
but
I
that's
don't.
okay.
You're making a very interesting point here, but I just want to say, like, on take 2, on take 3,
Yeah.
on take 4.
When I can refine it, or
Well, I'm just saying,
yeah.
what you painted for us there is like instinctual channeling. It's been talked about on the show. It's changed me. This stuff, I believe in it. I believe that getting to it on that level is the way to go. Try to get there. That's the way to do it. You don't even know what you did. Boom, it's coming through. Getting out the tension, letting that come in. Boom, all that. But I'm just saying, maybe the art comes in a way when you have to do it again.
Well, certainly when you have to do it again for you. But yeah, when a director comes to you, you know, I have to also, humility and cognition. You know, I'm an employee.
Yeah.
Unless I wrote the damn thing and I'm directing it myself, I'm an employee. If a director, who's technically my boss, whether actors like that or not, yes, they're a co-collaborator and a partner, but they're also your boss. They should have the final word. That's why what they do after some discussion. If they come to me, unless I vehemently disagree and they hear my disagreements out, they're willing to hear why, and then we come to a nice middle ground. But if a director who I very much respect tells me not to do it that way, and instead, and that's why I appreciate brevity in a director, say what you mean in a very specific way, make it land, then I can cognitively do it. And I'm humble enough to be as malleable as you need me to be. So that take 2, take 3, take 4 is what you want, or close to what you want, or satisfactory. I have to put my ego aside. And I've done that. And I don't want to say which performance, but there's a very high profile performance that I gave in which the director, I felt, was missing what I was doing. Because he kept telling me to do what I felt I was doing. And so I had to do a very obvious version of what I was doing, which was not the subtle, subtextual thing I wanted to do. And I'm not happy with that performance at all. And I never will be. It bothers me to this day, but it's one of my most appreciated performances. So maybe he was right.
Maybe you're wrong, you're saying?
Maybe I'm wrong. And I'll tell you why. When you're born, your parents get to experience your first 4 years without you having any recollection of that. And a lot happens in those 4 years, okay? 4-year-olds are not dummies, right? They're talking already, they're moving, they're whatever. And then, of course, your parents get to watch over and raise you through the next 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it is, before you take off and start making your own decisions. In that time, your parents get to know something about you, especially in those first few years, that you might never know.
Yeah.
An essence of you, an innocence, a purity that you either pushed out of yourself, that you're embarrassed by, whatever that is. So much so that, and it applies to acting, that as an actor, I thought my job was to become somebody I was not, right? I thought that was the beginning and end of my job, become somebody I'm not. And what I came to realize when my father passed away is that he took a piece of information about me that I didn't know, that was about me that I didn't know with him. And it became my mission as an actor and my greater pursuit as an actor to find what that was. So instead of becoming, how do I be another person? How do I be me? Like, be me and still play characters and do affectations and accents and different hairstyles and switch it up and have range, but be essentially me. People don't really know the essential themselves.
Right.
They don't really know that. And it's a privilege, another privilege, to get to do a job that explores that. It's self-actualization. I get to do that for a living. I get to figure out who the hell I am, essentially, for a living. And once that happened, once I sort of switched that on, my dad's death, working with Maggie Gyllenhaal was just this huge, it all happened around the same time, just this huge leap forward in it's not about me anymore. And so when a director sees something that I'm either doing or not doing that they don't like, that they need either less of or more of, I am humble because I'm thinking they're seeing some essence, or they cast me wanting some essence that I'm not bringing.
Yeah.
Or they cast me and they're seeing me bring something they didn't expect and they just want a simpler version of that. And so, like an employee, like a good employee, I do my job, and my job is to be malleable and consider that I might be wrong.
Do you have a typical way that you begin your preparation process when you get a new character?
No. Well, no. A typical way? No. No rules, man. What the fuck?
What's the first step that you take then?
It's an amazing first step. You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
I read the script.
You read that thing.
I read the story.
No one's ever said this.
I read the story and I go, ooh, this is what I have to do to tell this story. That's it. Am I stupid?
No,
Do I need to, you know what I mean? I read the story.
What's the second step?
What's the second step? The second step is how do I elevate what's there? Not how do I make this about me? How do I fix things that I think suck?
Yeah. But the
Because
word
every
elevate.
script, I don't care if it's the best script you've ever read, has something that kind of sucks in it.
Yes.
And slightly. The best ones are the ones that have the least of
Yeah.
that. And it's not my job to do that.
Right.
It's not my job to. If I get lucky on the day, and they might listen to me, and I can find a sneaky trick way to do it, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've tricked my way into fabulous moments on screen, right? Without anybody knowing that I'm tricking them. But it's sociopathic, which is what acting is by nature, inherent in the definition of it. But
Wait, you have to expand
it's
on
trickery.
that.
It's trickery.
So that's psychopathic?
No, sociopathic.
I mean, sociopathic.
It's psychopathic to continue to pursue this career. That's a whole nother thing. But sociopathic in what it actually is. The second step is always, I guess for me, and I don't know if it's typical if I do this every time, but in just sort of grounding it, finding a way to ground it so that the character, unless it's required, is not a caricature. There's a big difference. And by the way, mistakes I've made. So I'm not saying I've done this every time. I'm saying I have to learn to do this through mistakes I've made. And in general, just being open and to any possibility. But I also do I know this is going to sound crazy, but for me, I think of hair. I think of what the hell does this guy's hair look like? What does his facial hair look like? What should it look like? Who is this guy physically? Should he be fat? Should he be skinny?
You think of that off the bat.
It's one of my first thoughts.
Yeah.
I need to see that. I need to see that vision in my head to then find the voice, if it is an accent, if it's not, if it's a guy who talks like this or a guy who talks like this.
Yeah.
But my effort is always to a fault, to switch it up. And that's a problem sometimes for me. And I'm guilty of doing that.
Tell me what you mean by it's a problem.
I did this last time. That's ground I've covered.
I see.
For newness sake, I'm going to do something different. And it's not always required.
Right.
And I have to watch myself because my gut instinct is, I don't want to do that again. So let me find a new way to do that. And it's like, well, wait a second. Are you still playing a believable person? How believable is this if you go too far outside the realm of what this character is sort of meant to be on paper?
When do you check in with the director or whoever is, creative that's doing this, that is, is that an important step of okay, why am I thinking about all this before checking in on what they're looking for?
Well, I check in because, so in an audition situation, there's no need to check in.
Right.
The audition is the check-in.
Right.
You're either going to get it if you got it, you did something right. You did mostly right.
Right.
So there's no further need to check in unless you have a new idea that you want
Right.
to present that wasn't in the audition. And most of what I get is through auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
In the straight offers, man, I need to check in because the worst thing that can happen, I've had this happen, is you show up on day one, do what you want to do, and they go, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And you go, I'm auditioning right now.
And the cameras are there.
And the cameras are there and everybody's here and they're like, and now suddenly I got to turn on a dime and do
yeah.
something entirely different.
Yeah.
Which I've had to do a couple times. For the most part, I'm usually, my intuition is good. Thank God. So yeah.
And so therefore you almost like the audition even at this point.
I do, although, the ego does get involved. And why am I auditioning for this shit?
Yeah.
It's obvious. I can do this with my eyes closed. They know, they've seen me do this before,
Yeah. But at least you're bypassing that potential problem, right? Of day one.
Yeah, and that's me. That's not the character.
Yeah.
Right? And I have to separate the two. So I have to literally sit down and go, no, Krumholtz, no one gives a shit about your past experiences or your quote unquote reputation. They just care about the potential of you playing this particular role.
Yeah.
So all this bitterness that comes with losing jobs, rejection, or whatever has built up over time, which is natural, and no actor avoids it. All that bitterness cannot apply to this moment. Or at least most of it can apply. Some will sneak in.
Yeah.
I'm not the strongest. I can be weak. I can suffer from my ego. So I got to really be vigilant. I gotta do gymnastics, mental gymnastics, to make sure that my bitterness isn't informing. Or my resent isn't informing what I'm doing in the moment.
Right.
That's the truth. And it's not a truth I'm proud of, but it's the truth. So,
well, other people are either doing the same thing or they're suffering from not doing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, most actors are doing the exact same thing. And I've seen real gross examples where they can't not do it, where they're one big giant ball of their past experiences.
Yeah.
And they get stuck.
When things shifted to self-tape, were you delighted?
Delighted.
Why?
I cannot believe people have problems with this. Why? Because I used to tremble at auditions. Tremble. I tell a famous story about my first audition for Steven Spielberg, which I don't want to go.
We
I've
don't
told
care.
it over and over again.
This is the first. The aliens are only going to listen to this.
I've told it on the podcast. Too many.
Who fucking cares?
No,
There's
I'll
other
give you the
podcasts.
gist.
Okay.
I auditioned for Steven Spielberg. I was wildly physically nervous, and I was told not to be so nervous on what was essentially the callback, which made me 10 times nervous.
That's the worst thing to say to
Because
somebody.
now I'm thinking they see how nervous I am.
Yeah.
Now I'm hiding my nervousness. Not only that, but self-tape. It's a self-tape, meaning not only do I get to do it 1,000 times if I need to.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
If I really needed to, I could do it. It's digital, baby. But I get to choose what they see.
Yeah.
I get to choose what I think is my best performance. So instead of me walking in and taking a big swing and having egg on my face and being wrong or not being what they expected or seeing their look of disappointment the moment I walk into the room before I even say a word, which has happened many times. Where they go, oh, he's shorter than I expected, or he's a little chubbier than he used to be, or he's not quite right, or I just saw the guy that's going to get the part, came in right before him, so this guy's great, but I don't care.
Yeah.
This way, it's sight unseen, man. I can be free as a bird, man. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the best. And I've been kicking ass on self-tapes, man.
That's great.
What I don't like is the big Zoom callback.
Oh, yeah.
That's
gotta suck. Because that's the worst of both worlds then.
Zoom callback is essentially another term for torture device. It's a joke, and it's so disrespectful to actors.
Yeah.
The fact that the Zoom callback is a thing now makes me vehemently upset.
But can you at this point say no?
No. No, man.
Wouldn't it be awesome?
I'm not there.
If you could say no. I mean,
I'm not there. And maybe I should never get there. Maybe it's motivating not to be there,
So then how do you handle it then? How do you handle something bad that you don't want to do?
If it's really bad and there's not a lot of money, I just don't do it. If it's really bad and there's a lot of money, I just do it. It's a really simple equation, man. If it's, I got to make a living. I have 2 kids, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a character actor, dude. I don't get paid the big bucks. I don't know if that's a surprise to anyone.
It is.
You know, and I do mostly movies lately, and movies don't pay guys like me compared to how TV does.
Yeah. Do you miss the days that, for instance, like when you're on Numbers and it's just this steady stream? How many seasons was that?
It was only 6.
Oh, 6.
Well, yeah.
Was there something about that you settled into and it was great?
The greatest thing ever, man. I still have dreams. I have recurring dreams where I'm still doing it. It's the greatest thing ever. It's a home, away from home, a steady home, a steady paycheck. Sometimes it's a very large paycheck beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do stupid things like I did and spend all the money.
On an elevator home?
Because you're young and you buy a house with an elevator in it. But whatever, you know, I lived it up during that time. But yeah, the sun shines brighter. It literally. I miss that experience very much. The closest I've had to it was doing The Deuce for a couple, 3 years. That was something like it. But
you don't get sick of the same character over
you
and over?
absolutely do. It's monotony. It's absolutely not, especially on a crime show. I'll tell you a story. 4th season, I walk in, day 1, and tell them this is my last season.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can't do it. The show's beginning to suck.
Yeah.
It's beneath me. This is how stupid I was when I was 28. 20, yeah. I said, the show, it's not living up to what I thought it was going to be. It didn't help that I had a bunch of offers for big movies that I had to turn down because they conflicted with my schedule on Numbers. So here I am thinking, there's movies out there for me, big, cool movies and great filmmakers. I should really quit this show. And piggishly, you know, I said, this is my last season. And they were stunned. And then an amazing thing happened, a godsend. There was a writer's strike. Whoa. It cut our season in half. And in that period of downtime, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it wasn't a long one, but it was 4 months. Suddenly, for the first time in a few years, I felt very unemployed. And it was a terrible feeling. And it was a reminder, oh yeah, this is how it was before you booked this series. You were mostly unemployed or at least half the time, 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And I credit the special series finale of a show called Extras, the Ricky Gervais show.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great finale.
It's a great finale. It's the special one that they did after the show ended. He has his own show that he's created. He's gone from being an extra to being what he considers a big star.
Right.
And he quits his own show.
Yes.
And ends up getting, like, the best part he can get is as a slug, a talking slug on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And there's so much in that episode about ego. And it was such a frying pan in the face to me at that very moment. And it aired during those 4 months.
Wow.
That I thought to myself, wait a bloody second. I'm doing what I'm capable of. And it's what I'm capable of, and I'm blessed to be capable of doing it. No one on that show, my dear lovely friends who'd become family, who I'd worked with, the writers specifically, is not doing what they're capable of. Now, you write 22 episodes of a crime show about math every year. Guess what? It's going to suck eventually. It's going to start to get really boring or really weird or really stretched out of, reality. They were doing the best they could.
Yeah.
And so all this anger I was walking around with, the show's not as good enough or it's not as good as me, was insane. And I had a moment, thank God, from that. That series finale.
Wow.
So thank you, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Where I realized, boom, I better shut the fuck up and get grateful. And get grateful. And I had a blast. I had a blast the whole time, but I had an extra special blast those last 2 seasons because I didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah.
I just loved being around those people. It wasn't about what the quality of the show was. And when we had a great episode, bonus.
Yeah.
When they were bad, they were expected to be bad. There was no, I just enjoyed my time with those people.
Yeah.
That is what it became about.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're talking about a bunch of revelations that happened, but can you lay out, like, this is where I was. I actually believed that this, whatever it is, was how to do this, and now I know it's actually not.
Yes, the goalposts have moved a bit. It's the same goalposts. They're not a different color or a different shape. They've just moved a bit, you know. And that came mostly with life experience, not necessarily with acting experience. But getting married, having children, I had cancer, I had a nervous breakdown at one point, all this stuff that, my dad died, my son is autistic, and, there's challenges and things. The goalposts moved. But I will say, in the very beginning, my heroes as an actor were shape-shifting chameleonic actors. Just fascinated with character actors, female, male, who could shapeshift, who were endlessly watchable. People who I'd say, oh, she was also that person in that movie. It was like a little secret I knew, or I felt like I knew a little secret. Like, it was obvious, okay, Tom Cruise or whoever, the star of the movie, is the star of this movie, and this is a different movie. He's playing a different character. But with the little ones, you forget in a weird way, and it's a wonderful form of forgetting. You kind of go, I fucking forgot that guy was also my favorite thing in that movie, or that movie. And I thought, boy, if I could do that. And so that was always the goal. But the thing that got in the way and changed it a little bit, and it's still the goal. It's still, Willem Dafoe and these kinds of, like, Cate Blanchett. But the difference is, I got sick of waiting for people to catch on. And I thought, no, I was indignant. I thought, no, I'm not doing this wrong. I am doing this 100% right, and people just don't get it. Because there was a moment where I was being typecast as a neurotic Jew in everything. Play this overtly Jewish role who, he's worried about this, or, played the worried Jew in that. And, do I identify with my Judaism? No. Was I raised religious? No. I see myself as an individual, and as an individual, I'm boundless. I have boundless potential, and that's what I want to bring to this, and I want to show people that. When the time came that people stopped being imaginative about what I could do, that hurt, man, because I thought, oh, they haven't figured it out, and I haven't done it wrong. I'm just invisible. I'm not that impactful. It really doesn't matter what I'm doing. And that hurt really bad, man. That rocked me, but good. But then a wonderful thing happened. It made me cuckoo. It made me cuckoo. I started doing a thing, and I'm not saying I recommend this, but I started going out in public and starting conversations with strangers. I was that guy. I was the guy on the bus that you didn't want to talk to because you didn't know why he was talking to you. And sometimes I would do it in a state of inebriation. Not going to lie about that. I'm not proud of those. But most of the time I would do it completely clean and sober. Just start talking to people. Just start making conversation. Maybe even say beguiling things, shocking things, peculiar things, provocative things. Again, sociopathy. I mean, really. Because I'd been driven mad. And I had this very clear moment where I thought, lean into it. Get crazier. Because what you're doing is not crazy. You're relating to people. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not. As long as I do no harm, as long as I'm not creeping anybody out.
Yes.
If I'm nice and I'm me, And that's where I discovered what we were talking about before, what helped me discover my quote unquote essence, or help me start discovering it, because I don't think I'll ever fully discover it. But sort of going, okay, who's me? Who's me as a character? Who's David Krumholtz, the character? If David Krumholtz was the most fascinating character in a film, as David Krumholtz, then who is that?
Yeah.
You know, let's hear him out. Let's hear him have a voice in public. See how people react. And it was like the Krumholtz show, but it was my own personal show. I was the audience, the director, the actor, and the writer. And it made me crazy. And ever since I let it make me crazy, whether you call it manifesting it or not, I've been cast in a wider range. And people are starting to connect the dots and go, wait a second, the guy who played that also did this. There's such disparate performances. And suddenly I am that hero of mine that I watched as a kid. And I go, holy man, I made it. So if it all ended today, I'm good. Everything from this point on, as a quote unquote artist, I'll just say as an actor, everything from this point on is bonus round, cherry. I could use a big paycheck. That would be nice. Send me off into the sunset. But that's the one thing that I could use. Not to be crass about talking about money, but it's a living. I do this for a living. Yeah. I don't do this for my health because it's not healthy. Any therapist will tell you that being an actor is the worst possible thing for your mental health. And it is. It clearly is. Because I'm my product. I sell me.
I have to disagree with this too,
David. Here we go.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're doing this. What you did, the story you just told, is you changed your career through yourself.
Yeah.
You.
No one was going to do it for me because no one believed in me as much.
But you followed your instinct. Like I related to it. It sounds like insanity, but to go out and talk to people like that. But I relate to that. Maybe
I could have done what we talked about very early on, which is I could have gone completely phony.
Yeah.
I could have become a great big liar.
Right.
And I thought that's the cliche way to go. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to become more authentic. And that's what I want to be. And it's uncomfortable at times, but I love it. Yeah.
And you followed your instinct about yourself though. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And it led to that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
It did. I don't know if it led to it haphazardly or in some sort of clandestine way, or if it lent to it, if I willed it to happen. But you know what it was? It was fear of failure. Like I don't want to go out a certain, this might end. My career might end today.
Right.
There's certain ways I don't want it to end. There are ways I'm willing to I don't want it to end, period.
Yeah.
But if it were to end, there's certain ways I would be willing to let it end.
Yeah.
And then there's the ways I don't want it to end. So I'm doing everything I can to avoid those.
Yeah. Let's just say you were a plumber.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
I'm trying to prove my point that acting is not bad for your mental health. I think you would have. I think you would have went. I think,
my friend. Yeah,
I think you would have went insane.
Regardless, as a plumber,
acting saved you.
Oh no! See, two things can be true. Acting 1,000% completely saved my life. You don't even know the whole story.
Okay.
Which is that I got discovered off the street. I didn't even want to be an actor.
Wow.
My first job, it was an open call that my buddy went to that said, he said, "Do you want to go to this thing?" I said, "Sure." "What are you doing?"
Wow.
He said, "I'm auditioning for this thing. I'm on Broadway play." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, you should too." And I said, "Oh, well, whatever." And I did, and I got the fucking job.
Wow.
And my family had no money.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gone to college. I would have been a full-blown mess. No doubt about it. Because the drug and alcohol problems did come later regardless.
Yeah.
Had I not had anything, I would have been dead. I'm convinced of it. So yes, it saved my life, but
it saved your life again, though, is what I mean. What you just described.
Absolutely. But I had to go crazy first.
Yes.
It doesn't happen if you don't go crazy. I tell all young actors that ask me, I'm like, go a little crazy.
Yes.
Feel free to go nuts.
Yes.
Because it's going to make you crazy anyway.
Yes.
And you want to be your kind of crazy. You define what that crazy is. Don't let them define it for you. So that's what I did. I took my crazy back.
Yes.
You know, like Stella's got her groove back. Krumholtz got his crazy back.
And
Sorry, I shouldn't have
and it's working.
I regret doing what. Sorry.
Would you
We're in a
like me-
room
would you like
alone
me
with
to
each
edit
other.
that out?
I didn't mean to freak you out. No, don't edit that out.
This movie that I just saw, Forelock, we have to talk
The
about.
producers of Forelock are going to listen to this and be like, dude, when the fuck is he going to talk about our movie? We sent him here to promote the movie.
But they loved every bit of it up till now.
I would hope so. They're probably sick of me. But yeah, I am the producer of Forelock. I
Caleb
produced that movie.
Alexander Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rare to see a movie where two actors have to, it's almost like it's a two-hander to an insane degree. Don't you think?
Yeah.
There's so much talking in a good way.
In a good way. It's a funny movie.
It's a funny movie, but if you don't like this guy, you're in
Either
trouble.
of these guys, right.
Well, I mean, if you don't
You
like this
my
co-actor,
character. Oh, if I
you
don't like him
your
personally,
co-star, forget
God,
it.
forget about it.
And he wrote it.
Well, here's what happened. You know, he wrote it. He was going to direct it. He had never directed a film by himself before. He had co-directed something, but he didn't really take credit much for it personally, Caleb. But he had written before, but he hasn't done a lot of big acting jobs. He's starting to get them now, thank God. He deserves them because he's great.
Yeah.
So I did a smart thing because I've been down this road before with a first-time filmmaker, and you know it gets those. And I'm the lead. This is my 8th movie that I'm the lead of. That's a low-budget indie. They're very difficult to shoot, and I found that they became very difficult on me. So this time I said, I'll do it if you make me a producer, because I thought worst-case scenario, I have a right to speak up for myself.
Yeah.
On set, I'm not going to bother them. It's Caleb's vision. I'm not going to interfere. But worst case scenario, if I need to, I can say, hey, I don't want to run down that hill
Yeah.
20 times.
Yeah.
Let's try not to, shoot that from an angle where I might, bang my head on the camera.
Yeah.
If, you know what I mean? Like literally. They're
Having some say.
Having some say. So they were kind enough. Caleb was humble and kind enough to allow me to do that. And of course I met with Caleb. We talked about it. And we talked about what was inherently funny about it and how to, because the tone of the film is risky in that it's a comedy about desperation, which is not so much risky as it's a comedy about desperation that has a feverish sort of pace to it. So then how do you avoid it becoming kind of an annoying movie?
Right.
Where it's like I was bombarded.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems is not an annoying movie.
Right.
But if it's in the wrong hands, filmmakers' hands, it's the most annoying movie you've ever seen in your life. So that's a brilliant thing that the Safdies were able to do. But not everybody's able to do that. And as much as I trusted Caleb, by the time we spoke a couple times and reading his script, I didn't know what he was capable of. And I'm sure he didn't know what I was capable of either in playing that role. And so there was a lot of discussion beforehand, and I totally trusted him. And we got along, too. He was a good person. His wife was pregnant during the filming. And I thought, look at this guy, man. His wife was pregnant with their first child. And this is an intense moment for this dude, man.
Yeah.
He's playing the lead in the movie he wrote and is directing.
Yeah.
And his wife is pregnant. Huge moment for this dude. And I just thought, how do I help? What can I do to help him? And I think he saw that. And what ended up happening, which was really nice for me and a big giant learning experience, is they did need my input on set. They needed my producer hat quite often. And all of a sudden, the years of experience of being on sets, especially independent movie sets, understanding time constraints, light constraints, so on and so forth, I was able to have a voice and go, no, we can't shoot that right now. We should shoot that after. Why don't we shoot this first? That kind of stuff. And I felt like, hey, look at me. It was like a new job that I never had before, and I loved it. I love producing. And what came out after a good few edits where we had to sort of really find the film. And then when I say we, I had a little to do with the edit, but mostly it was Caleb. Caleb looking back at it and finding the best version of this film. I'm really happy with the film. I think it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And you never know until you see it with an audience.
Yeah.
We had our first big premiere at the Austin Film Festival. Austin being a very filmmaker-centric town.
It's a great festival, that festival.
And it's a great little festival because it's not the big one in Austin, and it's not crowded with LA people. These are the students that are learning film, and these are those people. And they loved it. They overwhelmingly loved it. We got good reviews. Nice. I was like, oh my moly, look at this. Because sometimes when you're that close to something, it's impossible to see if it, you get paranoid. It's a little movie that made me sick how hard it was to shoot. Yeah. That movie was hard to shoot. Brother.
So this is is it because of the time constraints, because of low budget, or what?
Yeah, everything.
It's also outside a lot.
Well, we made a mistake. I'm going to rat them out a little bit, but it's a we made a mistake thing. It's not a they. But essentially, there was a necessity of a week and a half exterior night shoots, written into the script. So you're doing a week and a half of overnight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shoots. But then there was a location that everyone loved that ultimately isn't the greatest location on film, but looked a lot better in person. You never know when that's going to happen. Yeah. That would only allow us to shoot at night. So a week and a half of nights became 3 weeks straight.
Oh my God.
Of night shoots. 3 weeks.
Oh my
7
God.
7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And if I was 27, 22, no problem. I'm 47. It killed me. It rocked me. It hurt. It was pain. My body did not react well. Your circadian rhythm is just destroyed. Yeah. And I was sick for a month, physically ill for a month after we finished. So it's a blood, sweat, and tears project. And it's a comedy. You know? So you just pray that people like it at all. Yeah. Because you're like, dude, I don't want to feel like. And by the way, again, I've had this experience where I've worked my tushy off on something, and people really didn't like the film, and you just go, my God, or it's a good film and it gets no distribution, is never seen, and you go, that's even worse when it's actually good. I made a movie that I'm really proud of called Crazy for Love, which that's a terrible title. Originally it was called Max and Grace, and then they named it My Suicidal Sweetheart. But when it finally got its big distribution, which was through Blockbuster Video, it was called Crazy for Love, and it's me and Natasha Lyonne. And that movie works so well. I love that movie. And I'm not amazing in it. There's some things I wish I could change, but because I was young. But for the most part, that movie works beautifully. And it was a nightmare to shoot in every conceivable way, and no one ever saw it.
Is it available to be rediscovered?
I think so. It's like on Amazon.
That's good.
Yeah.
We could see it.
I remember thinking, God, what a bummer. Because I remember thinking while I was making it, if this movie doesn't get seen, I'm going to freak out. And then it doesn't get seen. You don't freak out. You just move on. Yeah. Another one I made that I really think is really beautiful is a movie that, again, they changed the title. It was called Teddy Bears. And now it's called The Big Ask. And I have to exasperate that K. Yeah. Because it sounds like The Big Ass. It's a terrible title for a movie. It's enraging, especially because I show my ass in it. It's called The Big Ask, like someone asking a big question, a major favor. Yes. I love that little movie. It's me, Melanie Linsky, Jason Ritter, Gillian Jacobs, Zach Knighton, Anna O'Reilly. It's
what year are we talking about?
This is now, good God, 15 years ago.
Okay, I was going to say,
but it's a beautiful little film about a guy, and it's a comedy, but it's a very bleak comedy about a guy who is going through a major emotional crisis and loses his mind, and it manifests as him demanding to have sex with not only his girlfriend, but all his best friend's girlfriends.
I gotta see this.
And they all react normally. They go, well, yeah, right, you're kidding. And he goes, no, I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious. And then they go, okay, that's really creepy.
Yeah.
And not okay. Like you can't just expect.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend is embarrassed. And then the movie becomes about, are they going to do it? Are they going to heal this guy?
Wow.
Like, is his want to have sex with him just some animalistic pig thing?
That's
or
interesting.
does he really need to be healed by them? It's the whole movie's about. It's a great little movie. You know.
I think I need this movie at this moment in
It's
my
cute.
life.
It's called The Big Ask. Again, on Amazon somewhere.
Okay.
I think. Maybe not. I don't even know.
Are there any other? I love this. I should ask everybody this. Are there any other gems?
Yeah. Well, I can go on. Look, I've made a lot of stinkers too.
I'm sure.
But I created a TV series that I'm super proud of that nobody watched. And I always qualify by saying it was on actual TV. Because it was on the IFC network. It was a weekly show. It aired 8 episodes. We made 8 episodes. It's called Gigi Does It. I play a 76-year-old woman in 4.5 hours of prosthetic makeup. It's a hybrid reality.
Didn't you write this? You wrote this too.
I wrote this. It's a hybrid scripted reality show. There's only 2 regular characters on it. It's me and my co-creator, Ricky Maybe.
Oh my God.
And he plays my male nurse. And I worked my balls, forget about Tushy, my balls off, literally. I played a woman. It was so hard in the makeup. And I ran that show. The whole thing is improvised, you know. And damn, you know what? I don't care what anybody says, because I have watched that show numerous times it's now 11 years old. And I've watched it. I've watched different episodes, and I'm always looking to hate it. I'm always looking to go, this is why it got canceled. This is why it wasn't popular. And I gotta say, man, that show is just funny. It is funny. It works. So I'm really, really proud of that show. And guess where that is too? Amazon. This has become a commercial for Amazon Prime.
That's where things go.
Prime Video.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we can see that. That I definitely want to check out. I mean, all these.
The makeup is amazing.
I mean,
it really is. I don't look like me. The recurring theme is that I've been driven mad by being an actor.
Yes.
And so there disproves your disagreement.
I do believe that there are ways
to
that
avoid
people do this that are unhealthy.
Yes, much unhealthier than the way I do.
Exactly.
Oh yes,
You're telling me ways you do it. I'm like, that's not unhealthy.
And there are ways that people do this that are actually quite healthy.
Yes.
I avoid those. I like a little bleeding for this. I like it to hurt a little bit.
But it doesn't affect your psyche, does it? It doesn't harm your psyche.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Bad.
You think it actually harms your psyche?
1,000%. Yes. In my experience, I'm only speaking for myself. Wow. 100%. Now, have I been a lifelong depressive? Sure. Am I on medications? Plural? Sure. Would this have happened regardless? Sure. I can say all those things with confidence, but yeah, I'm extreme. There's the word wildly again, which is annoying me. This is it. This is how I hate myself. That's how it affected my psyche. I can't stand every word out of my mouth, and I keep tabs on myself.
It would be nice to have another instrument beside yourself, is what you're saying.
That would be very nice. I am so paranoid about how people view me. I cannot stand the look of my face.
You don't seem like that.
I totally understand why, like, that character that Robert Downey Jr. played in Tropic Thunder. I'm like, oh yeah, I would. If it was politically correct, I'd go black right now. You know,
that's the headline.
There it is. David Krumholtz says if it was politically correct, he would also darken his skin. No, I mean, I don't want this face, man. It's enough already. And I think, my God, how can people stand it?
Not only, wait.
It's all vanity bullshit, but it's part of the psyche problem. Yeah.
David, do you know that I have a very good friend that is obsessed with you?
Uh-oh.
And she,
thank God.
She told me, if you ever have him on the show, I must be there. And the only reason why...
Is someone going to walk in the door right now?
The only reason why...
Walks in and it's Anne Hathaway.
She's not here right now is because I didn't want her to scare you.
Would she be scary?
No.
Is she an actress?
No.
Ah, shit. It's not Anne Hathaway?
It's not.
Is it
You
Brie,
keep
Brie
guessing.
Larson? Can it be Brie Larson? Can you just say it's Brie Larson? Now, who is it?
It's my friend Amy.
Yeah.
But my point is,
Schumer?
you're.
I'll go there.
My point is, you're wrong. People love you. People love your face.
No, they love me. I'm not wrong. No, I know they love me. I'm very lovable.
So what do you? So
I can't stand it.
So I
My
must.
opinion of myself has nothing to do with how I feel about how other people view me.
But
I can't understand it. But I go, okay, they seem to like me. I'll ride that wave. Oh, yeah. I'm not shying away from that wave. I just have had enough of it my damn self. I cannot stand it.
who cares about what you think?
I have a wandering eye. Exactly. I only care. So it's fine. It's not a danger to my career.
Yeah.
The psyche problem is not a danger to my career anymore. It might have been at one point. Yeah.
And
I have a wandering eye. Yes.
to me, it feels like then you're about to reach a stage that is unlike any other stage. Then I'm talking about a level. You're about to reach a level.
I don't know. People always say that to me and it never happens. So maybe, that would be nice. Be very nice. You know, I don't know. I have 2 things coming out this year outside of Forelock, which still is looking for distribution. But in one of them, I don't want to say, what I do in it, but it's and it's a very high profile project.
Okay.
That's going to get this huge release. And I'm excited about it. I think the movie is going to be great. I don't know how people are going to react to my performance.
Wow. How exciting is that?
And I can't say why, but I'll tell you once we're off record.
Wow.
I'll get in a lot of trouble for saying that.
Wow.
And the other one is another big release at the end of the year. It's coming out Christmas Day, and I'm really excited for that one. However, I play a 60-something-year-old man in it.
Wow.
I'm bald and I have white hair. The character's name is Whitey. Whitey, and I think it's a beautiful movie, but it's very much a character, very sort of not me. So I don't know. These things, hey, who knows how people receive things,
Yeah.
especially soulless people who run my industry
Yes.
and decide whether or not I should work again.
Who are listening right now? You have anything to say to them?
Listen, you bastard. It's me, Krumholtz. You made your meat on me. You made your mud watching my work. It's time for some payback, some reciprocity. You know what the greatest joy I have of being in this business, and it's terrible, it's craven, is all the people who have doubted me throughout, they go away. They end up not working.
Yes.
They end up begging to get back in the business, and I'm still here, motherfucker. I'm still here, yo. I'm still here, yo. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm a survivor. Come on. Yeah.
David Krumholtz, thank you.
Thank you.
So
You like this one?
much. I love this one.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe at backtooonepodcast.substack.com, where you can listen to back episodes, engage with other listeners, and support the show.